Well, hello and welcome to Project Management. So this set of slides will give you a better understanding of how to manage your project from start to finish and what to expect along the way. You will never look at a property the same way once you know this. So first of all, we'll deal with a little bit of health and safety. So the fire alarm is not expected to go off during this. So if it does, make your way to the emergency exits. So the emergency exits, I'm sure you're aware of where they are. Toilets, you can pause this at any time and go and have a toilet break. And if you fancy a break for a cigarette or something to eat, same again, you can pause this at any time and have a break. So what you will get out of this training, so you'll get a better understanding of building and terminology, what to look out for when doing viewings, programming and sequencing of works, trades, health and safety, asbestos, CDM responsibilities, managing your builder's work from demo through to handover, and information, which is the most important, transferring from who has it to who needs it. You can find me on social media, so you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. So topics we will cover today: what is a project manager, responsibilities, contractors, health and safety, trades, programming of the works, and managing the project. So now we'll do the icebreaker. So who's good at maths? Hands up. I'm only joking. So how many properties have you managed the refurbishment of, including your own home? So I'll just give you a few seconds just to think about that. So it could be, I don't know, if you've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. Who knows? So how many properties have I refurbed? How many do you reckon? 7? You think 7 will impress you? Maybe not. How about 70? You think 70 impresses people? Okay, what about 700? About 7,000. Yep, only about 7,000. So sorry if you expected more, but that's how many properties I've refurbed over the last 20 years as a site manager. We're looking at about 400 to 500 per year, which works out roughly 10 a week, and that's roughly 2 per day. So work history, so I left school in 1985 with a handful of qualifications. Started a joinery apprenticeship with Ben Bailey Homes working on new build. In 1991 I started with DMBC working on responsive repairs in Doncaster. And in 1999 I started working with the Bramwell Construction on council house refurbishments, then went through into management in 2003. So what is a project manager stroke site manager? So imagine you're doing a project, a house refurbishment, which could include a kitchen, bathroom, electrical work, heating, many more items. If you're carrying out this work, you would be managing this project, so you would be a project manager. So if you had 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 of these all at once, this is a site. So this is what I do. This is a site manager. So running a construction contract, which could be a refurbishment of up to 400 properties to refurb in a year, is normal. So responsibilities, so I'll be dealing with contractors and clients, looking at health and safety, managing the contract to come under budget and time, programming and running the contract. Sometimes you have to be a social worker, sometimes you have to be a counsellor. So contractors, you have to manage the contractors and their expectations. So you have to work out everything you want them to do, including what is in their package, how many visits you need and when you need them to attend, what you are supplying and what they are supplying, whether it's just they're supplying the labour only and you supplying the materials, or a bit of each. Some things you might be able to get cheaper than they can if you run part of the LMPG. So you need to make sure that everything that needs to be done before they attend is done, and they can just carry on with the job when they get there. They just want to get to work and earn money. So if they're unable to, they will go to another job that they know they can earn money. So you are responsible for your own and everyone's health and safety on site. You can be prosecuted for your actions or omissions, which simply means you can be found guilty if you do something or fail to do something you should have done, like not putting barriers around an excavation and someone falls into the hole and gets injured. It is your responsibility. We'll cover more health and safety in detail later. So managing the contract to come on or under budget and time. Unfortunately, this is almost impossible. If you want a quick job, this will cost you in money and the quality will suffer. And if you want the job to be at a good standard, the job will take longer and it will cost you time and maybe more money. So you will not be able to price for everything in the project. There will be hidden work that you didn't see until the work starts. So don't blame yourself if when things crop up that you should have seen them, and there will be things that go wrong along the way. Programming and running the contract. So you will need to do a program for the work. There are a number of software solutions out there that you may be familiar with. I've used a few, but I just prefer to use Excel and do a nice simple program in Excel. You will need to work out all the different stages of work, when and how long each task will take, plus any drying time. So if you're plastering the kitchen, you must leave some drying time, whether it's over a weekend, a few days, depending on the weather, just to let the walls dry. It's no good fitting kitchens while the plaster's still wet, because all you're going to get is mouldy backs of units. You're not expected to know everything. Just ask each trade how long each of their tasks will take and when they need to be done. When you work out what suits the whole project, the plumber, the electrician will both want to do the first fix before the other, but you need to decide which one is the best to go in first. Social worker counsellor. So there will be issues that arise when work starts. Some of these will be outside of the project but will affect the project. This could be family members becoming ill and they won't want to attend site. Children need taking to school and picking up from school, which reduces the working day to 5 or 6 hours. Trades will fall out with each other. There's numerous things and you've got to deal with this to help the project go along. So what is the main skill you need to be a good project manager? So communication, written and verbal, keeping the project on track with the program, delivering the project on time, delivering the project on or under budget. Knowledge of construction may help, be able to manage the project, knowing health and safety, good people skills, plus many more. But the main one for me is, so I once asked a question on social media, what is the main quality you need to be a project manager? And I got a lot of different answers. Some really good ones, some witty ones, some people trying to be clever as always. My answer is simple. You need to be good at solving problems. Anything that can happen, could happen and will happen. Trades will always do what is best for them, regardless if it will have an extra cost for you or time or for another trade. It's the I'm alright Jack attitude. Sometimes you cannot see the wood for the trees, and an extra pair of eyes can spot things that someone working may not see. You have the finished product stroke bigger picture in mind. Trades may just look at their task in hand. You have to overcome whatever is thrown at you. Do you like solving puzzles? If you think about a project you are going to do as a giant puzzle, and all you need to do is solve it, so all the pieces just need fitting in the right order. If you like solving puzzles, then chances are you'll be fine as a project manager. Managing a project. So as a project manager, you are not expected to be a specialist in every trade. If you specialise, you do limit your options. You need to be a generalist and learn about all aspects of construction, but some construction understanding before you start would help. You need to be able to trust others' advice by having a good team around you, i.e. plumbers, electricians, etc. Then you need to make your own decisions on the back of their advice. Reading people is a great tool to help your decision. So managing a project, so you need to be able to resolve issues and solve problems after listening to all parties. Then make your decisions looking at the bigger picture, as each trade will always want to do what's easiest for them, and you will need to look at the bigger picture, then decide what is best for the project. You need to be aware that sometimes you will upset people when you decide to go a different way to what they have suggested, and you need to be able to handle that. If you want to be popular, this may not be a good thing. You will get issues and things will need sorting out with any project. If they didn't, then there wouldn't be such thing as a project manager. One thing with problems is they generally don't go away. They just get bigger and more expensive if you leave them. You will need to find out what problems they can see or any constraints with the work, as there may be issues you haven't thought of. Personally, when I talk to trades, I don't like to tell them my experience. I let them think I don't know anything about construction and see if they try to pull the wool over my eyes, when I can probably do their job better, maybe not as quick, as I've done most jobs in a refurbishment. There are lots of different combinations for a project. You could fully manage the project getting in different trades. You could buy the materials if you get a good discount, or leave it to the contractors who could get a better discount. I had a builder on site who could get better discounts for some materials and I could through LMPG. You to check so who gets the best discount. Programming the work and deliveries. So if you are employing a builder, then you could leave all the arranging of the materials and trades to them. You are paying them to project manage. You will still need to keep a check on progress and make sure things go to program and the work is done to your design, vision, drawing and the correct standard. There will be stage payments at milestones or key stages, and only release the payments if the work is actually done and correctly. If you decide to project manage yourself and arrange the trades, the material deliveries, then you need to talk to the trades about the job and how they work, which order they like to work in, and how long each trade is going to take to perform the task. You'll find out when you need the materials and how long the lead-in time is for the materials. There will be more stage payments to manage, and some trades will want to supply and fit, but you may get a better discount yourself with LMPG, for example. If you are uncertain about what has been mentioned above, you may need to ask for help or employ a project manager, stroke consultant who can advise you on areas you lack knowledge. So task one, so now just imagine that you're doing a small kitchen and bathroom refurbishment. Which trades would you put in which order? So these are the only trades you need for this project. Each trade takes 1 day to do each task, so plastering is done in 1 day, etc. So which order would you put them in? So if you can get a piece of paper and a pen and just pause the training just here, and then we can return where you started. So this is the list of trades. So you've got a wall tiler, a joiner, a kitchen fitter, floor layer, first fix electrics, plastering, first fix plumber, demo, painter, second fix electrics and second fix plumbing. So if you put them all in that order, and then you're going to have a pretty shambolic job once it's all done. So you need to just have a quick think about it for a few minutes and write these down in the order that you would think with the best order to put them in. So you pause it just now, and then you can start it again when you're ready. So which order would you put them in? You need to think about the consequences if a job isn't done at the correct time. then is that going to stop another job from completing? If you miss the correct order, you may have to pay extra for a revisit. So this is the order that I would put these in for this job. First of all, you do the demo, which is ripping everything out. Then I would always put the first fix plumber in. Then it's the first fix electrics. These two may want to fight it out, but I would always go with the plumber first. Then once everything's done, then you put the plaster in. Then the kitchen fitter once the plastering's all dry. Then you need the second fix plumbing, so you need to get everything connected up the sink top so you get water on the sink, get any pipes in, so when the joiner comes in, which is the next one, all the pipes are there, they're all ready to box in for the joiner. Then you've got your wall tiler. After the wall tiler, second fix electrics, and then once that's all done, you'll probably get some plaster patching to do, which we haven't got that listed in this job, but put the plaster patching in. Then we've got the painter, and then once it's painted, then you would do the floor laying. You may want to just put the floor laying, that if you need any latex in doing, just before the painter, so the painter doesn't get paint on the floor and the floor layer doesn't get latex all over the nice painted walls. So that's the order that I would put them in this simple little task. So how many did you get correct? And did you get them in the roughly in the right order? If you did, well done. A nice pat on the back. So this is a rough program. So if you're looking at Monday, so you've got the demo, and then the day after, it's ideally to split people up into separate days, because you don't want people working on top of each other. You don't want to send the plumber in while they're ripping out the kitchen. You don't want to send the electrician in when the plumber's in doing his first fix. The people generally, all these trades have got lots of tools, and just to get an area for all the tools to go in is a massive task, let alone the materials as well. So you don't want people on top of each other. So you've got Monday demo, Tuesday plumbing first fix, Wednesday electrical first fix. All these tasks should just take one day to do. Plastering, a good plasterer can plaster a kitchen in a day. And then Thursday, if it goes into Friday, so be it for him to finish off. But then you've got the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, for it to dry out. Depending on the time of year, in the summertime, it's going to dry out pretty quickly. In the winter, it might need a little bit longer. But in this task, it's all dried out nice for Monday morning. You've got your kitchen fitter, gets fitted on Monday, and then Tuesday, you've got second fix plumbing. Wednesday, second fix joiner. Thursday, you've got your wall tiler. Friday, second fix electrician. You might be able to put the plaster patcher in the same day, because he shouldn't really be in there too long. Get some plaster patching done in there. Depends if he has to go to another job first thing in the morning. And then you've got your painter. He might need a day or two, depending on what sort of work there is in there, how big the kitchen is, and drying times. And then you've got Tuesday, which is floor coverings. So that's a rough little program, nice and easy. So this is task 2. So imagine that you have a refurbishment project and you are renewing the heating and removing a chimney breast. So this consists of a fire with a back boiler and the heating controls on the chimney breast. You will need a plumber to remove the back boiler and an electrician to make the electric safe, then the chimney breast can be removed. So if this is all in a living room and you've just got a general living room wall with a chimney breast, and then afterwards it's just going to be a blank wall, and then the chimney breast can be removed once the electrician and the plumber have done their first fix. But if this is in a kitchen and the sockets and gas are to be run where the chimney breast is, once it's removed, then the chimney breast needs to be removed before the electrician and plumber can do the first fix. So you will need to program this in and get the electrician and plumber to call to isolate the fire so the chimney breast can be removed, ready for the first fix. I hope that makes sense. So each project you work on will be the same but slightly different. You could have a pair of semi-detached next door to each other, and you'll have different work done over the years, so you have to look at each job differently. So if you were to program the works, in which order would you do them? Let's say the chimney breast is in the kitchen and this needs to be removed before the first fix plumbing and electrics. So can you think of which trades you need and in what order from demo up to plastering? So if you can get a pen and a paper and then write these down, and then if you want to pause this section and then we can reconvene once you've got them in the right order. So you start always with demo, then you need to disconnect the fire, then you need to disconnect the electrics to the chimney breast, then remove the chimney breast and install the RSJ. Then you've got to join your first fix, so the RSJ is going to need some boxing in to be done. You might have a door frame that needs to be refitted. Then you've got your plumbing first fix. Always the plumber goes in before the electrical first fix. So this is a property that we refurbed. So on the left hand side this was a derelict shop, and on the right hand side it was a house. So it's another story, but this was advertised as a 4-bedroom house, but when you looked at it closely it wasn't. It was a 3-bedroom on the right and a 2-bedroom on the left. This was a shop with a flat above, which was to be converted back into a 3-bedroom house. To the front there was a half bay window with a door to the right side, which was set back about a metre from the front line of the house. This timber shop front should have been removed, bricked up and a new door and window fitted before the first fix started. Unfortunately it wasn't by our builder, so when the electrician came to do his first fix the existing door was still in place. So this is on the inside. So this is the door that you can see that's just set back. It's about a metre. That's the line of the shop front, and then you've just got this little return, might be slightly less than a metre, and then you've got the door front there. So this lot should have all been taken out, the new shop front put in line before any other trades come. So the door will go back in the same place. It's always going to be hung on that side, back to this wall, and then the light switch can go round about just there. So from the inside looking to the front, the door was on the left hand side, opening back to the wall, and the window was on the right. The electrician knew the timber front was to be removed, but wasn't informed where the line of the new doorway was to be. When a door is open, the light switch should be placed on the wall that is opposite to the hinges, so you're not having to go into the room to find the switch. So with the existing door opening back to the wall, the light switch was placed on the same side as the hinges, the wrong side for the door what was existing. So when the shop front was eventually removed, bricked up and the new door and window fitted, the door moved forward about 1 metre in line with the rest of the front of the house and was hung on the other side. So now the light switch is about 2 metres inside the front room on the middle of the wall and not on the front wall just inside the door where it should be. This is a picture of the doors fitted in line with the rest of the house. It's all bricked up and the windows installed. So this is the inside. You can see the door, there's the hinges for the door, so it's hung on this side, so the door will open back to this wall. The light switch should have been fitted somewhere round about there, but because it was a timber and it wasn't there when the electrician came to his first fix, this was all wired up and the light switch is just here, as you can see. So the door opens back to here and you've got to step in. Instead of just putting your arm around and switching the light switch on there, you've got to actually step in. It's not the end of the world, I suppose, but it's not an ideal place. At least it's not in the corner here, so you've actually got to go in and go round the door and then close the door to switch the light switch on. At least it is there, so when you come in, opening the door, you can't actually see it. It's not the end of the world, but it's all just little details like this that you just need to be thinking of and be aware of, because lots of little details like that can all make up a project looking really, really bad. So it's very important to work out where everything is going, even if you do a sketch like this to give it to everybody to work from. So this is just a rough sketch on a piece of paper. You've roughly got the house. It is a little bit of an odd shape to the kitchen and the back bedroom. It's a bit on display, so you've got a funny little quirky size. But you can see you've got with the double X's are those are double sockets, and which we've just got double sockets. So you've got 3 double sockets in the living room, 3 double sockets in the dining room, which is plenty. Your kitchen is sort of different, so that's all not on the kitchen drawing. And then your bedroom, same again, 3 double sockets in each bedroom, and then you've got a socket on the double socket at the top of the stairs, so you can plug the hoover in, and that's plenty of sockets that everybody's going to need going forward in that property. So you can do this, you can do it a bit neater. If you want to do it on PowerPoint or something, then you can do a proper drawing if you've got access to CAD, I suppose. But generally, a piece of drawing, it's quite clear and it shows everybody where everything goes, all the ways that the doors are opening. On this drawing, I never put the light switch where the light switches should be, so maybe that was part of my fault. Really, Sparky should have known that the light switch always goes on the opposite side to the hinges, and then it's always inside the room, and unless you get told it's outside. So it really is the electrician that should have done that, but then the builder should have got his wall moved back, so the wall would be there for the electrician to put his light switch on. So that was a sketch I did. I did showing where the sockets and radiator positions, the light switches always go to the opposite side to the hinges, so you are not going to walk into a dark room and leaning around the door to find the switch. Unfortunately, in this example, the light either the information wasn't passed on to the electrician about the door position, and the sequence of works were wrong, as the shop front should have been altered before the electrical first fix. So who's on first? Love Abbott and Costello, and if you watch that Who's on First, if you've not seen it, I suggest you go on YouTube and you look at this Who's on First, because it's side splitting. First time that you see that, it's very, very funny. So first fix, do you know what a first fix is? So who's on first? So the first fix is all the work that is done after the demo, so once everything's been ripped out, and the structural alterations, right up to the plastering stage, which is everything done before the plasterer goes in and makes the walls all nice and smooth. So you have a few different trades that need to do work before plastering, and making sure they are done in the right order is key to a job running smoother. So the most common trades are, you've got a joinery first fix, you've got a plumbing first fix, electrical first fix, you might need to get the windows and doors fitted, and then you've got bricklayer, which will have to come in and do some patching. So who's on first? So sometimes things may need to be done so that another trade can do their work correctly and safely. For example, you may need to remove a wall but need the electric switches and sockets removing first, or you may need to build a stud wall before the electric and plumbing elements are installed. You may not have availability of all trades when you want them, so you may need to put a different trade in before you would like to. In a normal refurb, this is how I would like to do it. So that's the end of this section. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like what you've been watching and you want to see more, then make sure you like, subscribe for more content. If you'd like to know more about the different training packages, then please message me on Instagram. So for now, it is goodbye from me. And these are the different places that you can find me on social media.